Hey everyone, it's that time again. It is time for midweek market update. It's PokeMarketLab back with you. This time every week, Wednesday, we go through what's hot in the market, what's up, what's down. As you know, everything is up right now. With that, let's get into it. Obsidian Flames is doing fantastic. This is the booster box on the screen here, $177 market price, up 35% in the last few months, doing phenomenally well. Finally getting some attention. Again, this set over a long period of time here has just suffered from really, good pull rates, too good of a pull rate. And just the singles in the market, just there wasn't enough demand, too many singles. And so the prices on the singles didn't elevate, and thus the box didn't elevate. So this is getting old now at this point. It's already had a reprint. That's a huge risk on everyone's mind right now. The fact we had a reprint already in this just kind of signals to the market, hey, this is fair. Nothing is ever truly safe, but this is getting old enough, and the fact it's had a reprint that it's becoming safer. And I think the market is taking note of that. So really well for a set that did not get attention for a long period of time. These were well under $110, $100 on TikTok and other places for a long time. People just literally could not get rid of them. It was talked down upon, and that's why a reminder: when other people are talking bad about a set, when there's a lot of negativity, when a set's price is depressed, that's usually a buy signal. Remember, be greedy when others are fearful. All right, on to Obsidian Flames. Elite Trainer Box is doing really well as well. I did not realize this. Another product, these were $30 to $35 not long ago. Look at that beautiful chart here. Beautiful volume. Everyone's hopping in, knowing that there's less of a. I mean, I've seen more. Let's put it this way: I have seen more Sword and Shield ETBs at big box stores come online and in person than I've seen in Obsidian Flames lately. So these are drawing. There's only 70 of these. This is a regular Elite Trainer box. 70 listed on TCG Player here. So this is you were quickly running out of time to get any affordable Obsidian Flames, and it's a solid set. It really is a solid set. There's a few great cards in there. There's no massive chase, but it's just just a very solid mid-tier set. And I think historically people will and good pull rates are fun. It's fun to open, right? You get a good hit, and yeah, it may not be a $700 card, but we want to pull decent stuff. And there's a ton of decent cards in this set. Looking at the Pokemon Center ETB, I've gone over this on Obsidian Flames. This one led the charge on the Scarlet and Violet Pokemon Center ETB uptick here in Bull Run. And this is just 80% in the last few months. There's only 32 listed on TCG Player. Still going up. This is a $260 market price, and I really don't see this going any other way but up. That Charmander with the Pokemon Stamp promo on it, logo, is great. It's a great card on its own. It's actually the one from the regular ETB is starting to get expensive. Not expensive, but it's starting to go up. And I think it's about a 4 to 5x multiplier having the Pokemon Center logo on it right now, at least for Obsidian Flames. So fantastic. I don't recommend. I don't know that I would jump in at this point. I have one of these that I'm going to covet and hold for a long period of time. And obviously we have Charmander on the box, which that helps tremendously as well. So a reminder, we're going to talk about a couple of the other of these. Let's actually talk about Paldea first here. Another one that's doing phenomenally well. This is $250 market price on this Pokemon Center ETB, right up there with the Obsidian Flames one. So a reminder, I think it's safe to say that Pokemon Center ETBs are almost an automatic buy if you can snag them. The market has caught on to that, and it's become a scramble on pre-order day. We have no idea when that typically comes, right? It's random. The time's random. All you can do is keep your ear to the ground and make sure you have alerts set and, follow some folks on Twitter here on X to get alert notifications when stuff drops. That's all you can do. But if you have the opportunity, I would get a couple. You're getting exposure to the set to begin with. There's a chance that historically these have done extremely well because of that logo. That there's great history surrounding these, and it's a great option too if you're not interested in the set. Maybe like take Journey Together, for example. The set's kind of meh. I got a couple booster boxes, but to me, if you want to get exposure, but you don't want the booster boxes, get a couple of Pokemon Center ETBs. You're getting exposure to the set, so if the set runs up, that's going to run up. And historically, they've been fantastic. People love that stamped, the stamped logo card in those boxes, and so it's an automatic buy. Especially again, if that's all you want to get for the set, get a couple of those, and for 120 all in, and call it a day. So, Crown Zenith. I talked about this in a previous video. I think all indicators are this is going to keep running hot. And so again, this is just another reminder. I'm not going to go into specific products, but a reminder that this is going to do, it's been doing incredibly well from a single standpoint and a sealed standpoint. I think it's got a lot of room to run. It's a coveted set. No matter who you talk to, they have positive connotations with this set. They had a positive experience with it. It was cheap for a long period of time and only has recently started to run up. So if you have the opportunity to get in, I rarely tell people to pay market price for things. I mean, the regular ETB is $100 a box. I think you can do better than that. I saw one on TikTok I snagged for $60 yesterday. Anything under that $100, I think if you have capital and you like Crown Zenith and you want some exposure, get it. Booster bundles, we've seen those come out in stock periodically online, but they've been snagged up quick. So you're quickly running out of time. Get whatever you can. It's a phenomenal set. Make sure, I'm telling you, make sure, if there's one takeaway in this video, make sure you have exposure to this. You will thank me later. All right, couple of updates on Sword and Shield. So we've had a lot of peaks in Sword and Shield now, so things are kind of leveling off. This is Fusion Strike right here, sitting at $460 market price on TCG Player, and things are just leveling off. And you can see this is exactly what happens. There's no concern here whatsoever. This is a phenomenal set, but this is a kind of a stair-step pattern that we see here. If you kind of zoom in on the 3-month mark, you get a step up here and it kind of sits for a little bit and it climbs up and sits for a bit. It's the same thing. What the market's doing at this point is just recalculating, recalibrating and saying, okay, is there anything cheaper than Fusion Strike? I've said this before. It's kind of like a bucket. Imagine money pouring into a bucket. So the buckets, imagine a bucket on top of a tower and there's just a series of buckets below it, right? You got Evolving Skies at the top. You got all these other sets and they trickle down, right? Fusion Strike, that bucket fills up. All the money gets to the top. And what happens? It's like, yeah, maybe that's a little expensive right now. And that money spills over to cheaper products, especially in a bull run like this, because not everyone's voting. The price of a product is not a vote on whether it's good or not necessarily, right? That's not the entirety of that vote. It's a lot of it's just, hey, is this cheap or not, right? So the money's just kind of flowing to cheap stuff. That means some things that are increasing in price shouldn't increase in price because they're not great. They're just people, it's dumb money just buying whatever they can afford and saying, hey, this is cheap. This is going to keep running up because it has. Eventually that train stops, but which is why we want to make sure we're buying good stuff. So when that train stops, that good stuff kind of, takes less of a beating than the bad stuff. So some opportunity here on Fusion Strike, though. Just keep in mind, we're starting to see a lot of ETBs start to run up on some of these other sets in Sword and Shield. Fusion Strike were dirt cheap not long ago, even though Fusion Strike booster boxes were good. Historically, Sword and Shield ETBs were printed really, really heavily. And this one was no exception at the time, but these are drying up. And so another set that you want to have some exposure to. And again, one of the ways we can do, get some quick exposure to a set is to get sleeved booster packs. Do not be afraid of these. I hear people talking and talking negative about sleeved packs. There's nothing to be scared of. This is absolutely, the market is voted on the fact that sleeve booster packs are superior to regular packs, right? So just don't be afraid to get these, especially if you're you're at retail and you see stuff like Sword and Shield, even if you see newer stuff from Scarlet and Violet. If you don't have a lot of money to deploy, this is a great way to grab a few packs. You get some exposure to a set. I mean, just look at Evolving Skies, right? You grab, and this is, a few years ago now, but if you grab these at retail, the sleeve booster packs at retail for $4 or $5, there's a $25 now. And Fusion Strike already almost $12. So if you can pick these up, a great way, even now, if you don't want to spend $100 on an ETB, just grab a couple of these, get exposure to the set. It really helps with the FOMO later down the line. You're like, hey, I may not have the booster box of Fusion Strike when it hits $1,000, but I got a few sleeve packs, so I got some exposure. You're getting that water level is rising from the booster boxes, rising all products in that set. Fusion Strike Pokemon Center box doing really well, $150 market price here. The population of these is just going out here. It's just going, it's gone. And you see the volume starting to dry up as people FOMO into this. So these are going to continue to run up. There's nothing super special about these in the Scarlet and Violet era. Although this box art that they do, that was separate from the regular box art. That's what I like to see. I think that kind of makes it a little more special. Some other things happening in Sword and Shield. We've got some other products, like I talked about before. Money's just dumping into whatever it can at this point, regardless of whether it's good. Sword and Shield, Darkness Ablaze, sitting at a $200 market price, only $50 listed on TCG Player. Not a great set. I don't like this set. I think it's fair to say the market for a long time didn't, right? Which is why it was really cheap up until recently. It's about a 30% run up in the last month. It's just not my cup of tea. And I could have bought these. Anyone could have bought these all day right around retail not long ago, and tried to get that, try to capitalize on this uptick. But there's a reason it was cheap for so long. And a lot of people will tell you, hey, buy anything that's Pokemon that's cheap. That's great in a bull run. That works in a bull run. But when we're not in a bull run, I can tell you it sucks to have product that no one wants, because that stuff just performs terribly. The majority of the time will not be like now. So depending on what type of investor you are, if you're a short-term investor, yeah, Darkness Ablaze would have been a great buy at 160. You could have made a few bucks, right? If you're long-term, you really, my recommendation is to buy stuff you like, and buy stuff that's good. Same thing with Battle Styles here. This is still right around that MSRP price. It's still not doing anything special. It's just not a great set. I would rather pay a little bit more money for something that's even in Scarlet and Violet that's a lot younger. I would. There's almost anything in Scarlet and Violet from a booster box standpoint I would rather have rather than this. Pokemon Go, another product that I just do not like this set. It's probably one of my most hated sets. I don't want to say hated. There's always cards that you like in a set, but $60 price for this on TCG Player here. This was really low just look how flat that was. Again, these were sitting around $40 for a long period of time. So don't let the Pokemon Go name, trick you in this one. This is not a great set. There's nothing. These rainbow cards, they're great the foiling is great in person, but the fact that there's no color on the Pokemon at all, they don't stand out in a binder to me. They're very kind of mundane. So I wish they had done the foiling background, but with a full color Pokemon, I think it would have done better. So there's really just nothing in this set that's doing it for me. Even the Mew here is just very cartoonish CGI. It just doesn't do it for me. So a depressed product, a product that's hated that you should be looking at, is Shrouded Fable. These are going quickly. So still at that $40 price point. Again, we practically couldn't give these away. Look at that sell volume now. People are finally paying attention to it. It's not a great set, but it's not a bad set. Okay, there are some good cards in this set. We get that Cassiopeia. This Persian is doing really well. This Duskull's an awesome card. Dusk Noir is a great card as well. You got Horsey down here. Dusclops. This Monkey Dory over here, I thought was really cool. So there's definitely some cool stuff here. It's not a phenomenal set, but it's probably more deserving than it's getting in terms of box price. It deserves to be more than $40. So plenty of these listed on TCG Player. The reason I bring this up is you might want to get a little exposure to this. A booster bundle, an ETB, something, because I don't think it's going to go through the roof, but I think it's going to start to increase here. So get it cheap while you can. It's not going to double and triple and do all that kind of stuff. But I think long term, I've seen this time and time again with product where the market just hates it off, out the gate, and then eventually turns on it. So just specifically looking at a couple cards from Shrouded Fable, just to illustrate this Persian is up 135% in the last 3 months, sitting right at $55. And then this Duskull, which I think is a really cool looking card, sitting at $38, up 65% in the last few months. All right, we're going to 151 now. I just want to illustrate just the tear that this thing is still on, everything from this set. The 151 Ultra Premium Collection sitting at $280 on TCG Player, still up 45% in the last month. Again, these were below $100 not that long ago. Like, we can remember a time. Look at this chart right here, $100. These were easily under $100 for a long period of time. And look, almost a vertical chart here, just doing phenomenally well. This was an auto buy. Right, this was 151. This was 151. Regular ETBs were doing well before this. Like, it did not make sense that this collection was $80 on TikTok. Like, no coupons, nothing, just $80. So kudos to anyone who picked up these, because you pretty much tripled your money. So 151 ETBs, again, 56% return in the last 3 months, sitting at $350. I'm sorry, this is the Pokemon Center exclusive. $350 for these. Again, that Snorlax promo, the stamp promo, plus it's 151. I just wish they had done something different with the box art on this to differentiate it between the regular ETB. But I have a few of these, absolutely coveted, long-term holds. Will probably go down as the best performing Pokemon Center ETB at some point in time. for sure. I don't know if it is right now. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back in time. It's up there, but it will absolutely be, it'll be the first $1,000 Pokemon Center ETB. Regular ETB doing phenomenally as well. These are starting to dry up really quick, sitting at $170 on TCG Player. Only 53 listings, 100 boxes here, and the volume's starting to drop off. And the reason for that, I think, is really the booster bundle. I think these are just getting expensive for people. This is not, it's old, but it's not that old. And remember, this is, again, the set is beautiful. I remember before release, these were like $40 a pop. And it was a great set. It was 151. I was like, hey, how could this not be? And it's hard to make those determinations because we were in a bear market at the time, and it's really hard to say, I like this set, but it's, the market's voting that they don't like it right now, and to deploy the capital when no one else likes it, that's where the wisdom comes in, and knowing like, hey, these markets turn around. This is a good product. Making that determination and that thought process of, I like the product. I like a lot of cards in this set. Let me go in on it. Let me boost my my typical allocations here. And then the booster bundles, I think this, again, I've said this before, I think this is a concerted effort by the Pokemon Company to get packs into the market. They have not touched the ETBs. I've seen like a couple stock alert notifications for Walmart and for Target on regular ETBs. I don't know that they were actually in stock. If they were, it was only a few. The bots got them right away. There's no reprint on ETBs that I can tell that's hit the market in any kind of meaningful size. We'll put it that way. Or otherwise we'd see a lot more listed on TCG Player, especially at that price. So they are dumping booster bundles into the market like crazy. There's been almost 14,000 of these 6-pack booster bundles sold in the last year. The product is still up 64% this last year, sitting at a $62 market price, and these retail for about $28, $29. Still 700 of these listed on TCG Player, and we still see these come in stock almost daily at online retailers. Not a ton of them, but they still come in stock. So again, I think this is a focused effort by the Pokemon Company to get packs into the market, but keeping the other levels of product premium. Same thing, we got Blooming Waters, right? Another way of getting, and we saw them do that with Sea and Sky and Crown Zenith. Make a new product, get the product into sales channels, get the product into people's hands, but you leave that ETB as a collectible, essentially, at the end of the day. So you have these different levels of collectability with these products where things like the Pokemon Center ETBs, essentially the highest level of collectability. And I've said this before. I think they're actually separating it from the booster box. The Pokemon Center ETBs from Scarlet and Violet have, up until recently, outperformed the booster boxes from a percentage standpoint. So I think they're doing that. I think that's a concerted effort on their part to create some levels in the products of collectability. And the question will be whether they do that moving forward. Are they going to do that with Paldean Fates that kind of needs a reprint at this point? Are they going to do that are they going to have light touches or some of these other products that these other full booster box sets that need reprints at some point? We saw the light touch they did with Paldea and Obsidian. We don't know if that's going to be the case moving forward. So that's it for this week's midweek market update. Hopefully everyone's having a great week. And with that, we will see you on the next one. PokeMarketLab out.